A hag's hut that actually opens. Fully playable, fully cursed, and ready for your next Halloween adventure. So, from the stone walls to the mossy roof and all of the eerie little details inside, I'm going to walk you through step by step on how exactly I built this witch's hut so that you can build your very own for your own tabletop adventures. Let's craft the magic. Now, this is by far the most challenging and time-consuming project I've taken on this far, primarily just due to the round shape of the build, as well as all of these small bricks and little details I decided I want to try to use on this video, just to combine some ideas and things I've used through previous videos. So, because of the round walls, we are not going to use the standard foam. We're going to take some cardboard and then cut some thin strips to about the scale that looks about right. Now, I did pre-cut a whole bunch of these foam tiles, and these are going to be used for several projects throughout this video for all the woodwork, between the flooring and the shingles, but we're just going to texture those up with the brass brush and slice them up into the right pieces. From there, we'll just glue those across the base of this foam board. And this will create the hardwood floor for the witch's hut here. So we're just going to do an offset pattern there, back and forth, and just kind of rearrange those as we go through it, just to make sure there's no ends lining up too close to each other and give it a nice consistent spacing. Now, because I'm going for a real weathered and out in the middle of nowhere witch's hut, the planks aren't cut perfectly straight on the ends to create kind of an offset and spacing and pattern. And I think this really just adds a nice bit of character for the story element. Now, once that's all trimmed up, we have the floor completed. Now, to attach the cardboard walls, we're just going to use some hot glue and paste that around the base. Make sure we get a nice good seal all the way around so it's nice and straight, and using the table to make sure it's all level as well. So, I 3D printed these doors here that you see, and I made sure that we mirrored them and made them the same size so that the doorknobs can be on the same side on both of those. From there, just a matter of hot gluing those, so we started on the interior one level with the floor. And then for the exterior door, we just want to make sure that we're lining it up with the interior. So to do that, I just lined up the points of both of those doors and just made sure it looks straight on the outside as well. And with all the other details, if it is a little bit off, you're not going to be able to tell anyways. Now for the outer ring of bricks, I decided to go ahead and do a nice heavy base layer across the bottom. So I used these slightly thicker cut bricks and just kind of squish them a little bit to make sure they're the right size and fit nice and tight. And once all that was done, we had a nice heavy footprint around the entire base. Now from here, I went ahead and just took some Mod-Podge and put it on pretty heavily. That way we could stick all of these other smaller bricks into place. You do want to make sure that you don't have any kind of hot glue sticking out, otherwise it will kind of mess with the placement of these smaller bricks. And just kind of take it real slow and do a little section at a time, otherwise your glue is going to start drying too fast. I noticed that the wetter the glue is and the more you have of it, the easier it is to kind of get these in place. But the smaller brick does really give you a really nice pattern to it, and we're going to seal that again with just Mod-Podge over the entire surface, just to really lock it all in. We're also going to cover that cardboard on the inside up to make sure it's nice and protected and won't get squishy. Now for these 3D printed windows, I just went ahead and kind of marked where I wanted those and drilled a hole to find the center. And then just carefully use my utility knife to cut each of those out. I did leave a little bit of a lip on the outside, and that's where we're going to glue them onto, so that you can still see through these, but still have enough room to actually glue them in place as well. So, a little bit of hot glue, and then carefully put those into place and make sure they're all lined up nice and straight. Now, for this section, I wanted to hide all of the ridges of the cardboard, and this also does a really good job at adding a lot of weight to the build. So I'd say probably 2/3 of this build's weight was this plaster here, but it adds a really nice stucco texture on the interior. And then to seal that and protect it from future layers, we're also going to cover that with a layer of Mod-Podge once it's dried. Now for decorating the interior, we're going to take some more of these wooden planks, and these were actually offcuts from some previous projects. And we're just going to glue those across the bottom against the wall, and we're also going to put those on the top as well. But this is a really nice and simple way to really just frame that interior and add a lot more texture and detail on there. So the important thing here is going to be just to keep all those nice and straight so that you have nice straight lines to work with and it's not too distracting. Now for the beams that support it, we're just going to use those same pieces and just carefully trim those into place. And I didn't really measure anything on these since it was round, so I just kind of eyeballed it and measured it basically from the distance from the windows and from the doors to make it try to look consistent. And I think I did a pretty good job with that, and it's not going to bother me if it is a little bit off. Now from here, we're just going to very carefully take our utility knife and follow that cardboard ridge around the top, smoothing out all those bricks, and then going back through with a little more of that plaster just to hide all that cardboard texture. Very carefully wiping around the tops to keep it nice and consistent. Now for the roof, I'm using a thin piece of cardboard from an old chip box. You could also use it from like a cereal box or something similar. It's flexible, lightweight, and easy to shape into that classic round hut look. So to start, we'll just be cutting roughly the size you want for your roof, and then cut a straight line from the outer edge all the way to the center. By overlapping the cut edges, you can adjust the slope of the roof. So the more you overlap, the steeper the roof becomes. Less overlap gives you a wider, shallower angle. So think of it like adjusting the diameter. The smaller the circle becomes, the steeper your roof will look. So from here, it's a matter of decorating all of the roof. And for that, I use the same technique that I used for my Wizard's Dice Tower by using individual planks kind of sporadically placed to make it look more weathered and worn. So we're going to take some more of these planks here and texture them up with that same method with a brass brush. Now that the roof shape is ready, it's time to give it some structure and texture before adding shingles. I'm using thin strips of XPS foam to create the planks that will sit directly on top of the cardboard. You could also use coffee stir sticks or craft wood if you want a more realistic finish. So I'm going to start at the bottom and just work my way up, leaving each plank so that it sits flushly against the last one and leads all the way to the top. Now if you want to bring this witch's hut to your own table, I run a one-shot adventure that takes place right inside, and you can grab it completely free on the Craft Cave Discord. Just join the link below. And if you never want to miss out on free D&D resources, builds, or story content, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. There's plenty of more magic on the way. Now for the shingles, this was a very tedious and time-consuming part of the process, but I think it did make a very nice look to the build overall. Adds a good little bit of weight too, adding all of these individual bricks, but if you don't want to go through all of these steps, there are certainly much faster ways to achieve a shingled roof. So I also went through and placed some of these at an angle to make it really push that weathered effect by letting them look like they're falling and sliding and slipping off. And I think it adds a nice little bit of contrast, especially once we get it painted and you can see the wood texture underneath these planks as well as the shingles themselves. Now once all these were in place, I decided that those beams weren't quite thick enough across the top, so I went ahead and just cut some larger pieces to fill in there, which let all the shingles sit between those instead of kind of on top of them. So for the top, I just kind of trimmed those down as it was needed to make them all fit nice and flush at the top, and then trimmed each of those down to set nicely. Once it's all been textured and painted, it's really a minimal detail that you won't really notice. Now to break up the round shape on the exterior, I decided I wanted to build this little, almost like a dry storage spot outside that would be covered, so it'll put like crates and boxes and whatever else you want to put out there, but it's just a nice way to really just break up that round shape. So I'll just take a bunch of the scrap foam that I've already got from all the previous steps I've taken and just kind of fit those and glue those together. There wasn't really a plan for this, just kind of what looked good and fit well together. Now every adventurer needs great and reliable gear, and that is exactly what found its way to the Craft Cave this week. So a huge thank you to Valentinas from Valentine for You for sending over the stunning handcrafted leather dice tray and the matching dice bag. So if you're interested in high quality leather products, be sure to go check out their Etsy link down below and check out all of their other products. And a huge shout out to Oops So Sorry over on TikTok for doing the videography and pictures for this product. So now that the construction is finally complete with this project, it is now time to seal and paint it. So for that, we're just going to do a nice heavy layer of Mod-Podge and then prime it with the matte black paint. Now for the wood details, we're going to start with the interior and work our way out, and we're just going to start with the burnt umber. Now for the shingles, we decided we're going to do a nutmeg for that. And it's also the same color we're going to use here to highlight the texture of the wood grain. Now for the interior stucco walls, we're just going to make kind of a nice white cream color and very carefully paint the interior of that. I think I ended up doing probably 2 or 3 pretty heavy coats on the interior very carefully. Now for the stone, we'll do our standard method of just sponging on some yellow paint very liberally and then going through and sponging on some red over the top of that once it's all been dried. This will add a nice warmth to it underneath. Now for our heaviest layer of gray, we're going to start with the darkest color, and we're going to add a little bit of nutmeg to it just to kind of warm up the whole build, and then very liberally apply that over the entire thing. From there, we'll just work it up to lighter colors. And this will really allow us to get a lot of depth and contrast in color where it really pulls out that texture. Finally, we're going to hit it with a little bit of white, making sure that we're going kind of across the tops and the sides of those to really grab the highlight and where the light would be coming from. Now I like to paint it pretty bright here because the washes here shortly will tone that all back down. So we'll clean up that top lip with a little bit of black, and then we'll get on to the shingles, which we'll just take the nutmeg with a little bit of white, just to really pull out those contrast and the wood texture grooves that we have there. Now, for all of the metal details, we're going to take just a little bit of this metallic paint and very carefully just paint all of those small details. The knocker, the hinges, the doorknobs, as well as the window frames that we have here on the side. I found that this detail was a really nice little bit to have that little bit of a metallic shine to it. Now for the wash itself, we're just going to take mostly the burnt umber and a little bit of black in there to make it kind of a really dark and dusty color. And we ended up actually doing, I believe, 3 coats on the stone to really tone it down a bit, and then just the one on the interior to really highlight that texture. For the moss effect, we're just going to take the flocking and glue along with just a couple drops of the black paint. And we'll just very carefully and liberally apply that all over the exterior. Now I use this primarily to cover up any kind of mistakes or large gaps, and this will hide those nicely and add a lot of weathering and detail and a nice bit of color contrast with all that green on there as well. I don't think there's really a way you could do this wrong. I think a lot or a little will go a long ways. Now, if you need any of the tools or resources you saw me use here, be sure to check the links down below. And that's my take on the Witch's Hut. Eerie, atmospheric, and fully playable for your next tabletop session. So whether your players are hunting for a missing child or just foolish enough to sip from the wrong cauldron, this build has everything you need for a spooky adventure. Now remember, if you want to bring this hut to life at your own table, I've run a complete one-shot to go along with it, and it's completely free for all members on the Discord server. You can grab that adventure, see behind-the-scenes photos, and share your own builds with the community there. Now, if you enjoyed this build or want more free D&D resources, don't forget to like and subscribe, ring that notification bell. That way you'll never miss the next creation crawling out of the craft cave. Until next time, keep crafting, worlds worth exploring. Thanks for watching.